Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to another special evening at the Garden City Toastmasters Club, Bangalore. Today's evening is especially special because we have a really excellent theme today. And this theme is important to each and every one of us. The theme for today's evening, as you can see on the board, is relationships. Before I move on, I would request each and every one of you to please make sure that your mobile phone is either switched off or kept on silent. Thank you. Relationships do play a very important role in our lives. More so by the people who we have a relationship with. And when I say relationship, it has a very general meaning. It can be any type of relationship. It might be your best friend, your wife, your son, even your dog perhaps. You have a special relationship with your dog. And you get a lot of values from each and every relationship. And it's up to you to make sure that you keep up your relationships. If you haven't found it yet, if you haven't found a special relationship yet, please do keep looking. Don't settle down thinking that you'll never find it. As with all matters with the heart, you'll know when you find it. When you look at it, you'll know that this is a very special relationship. And like all great relationships, it gets better and better over the years. I would now like to call upon a person who believes in building and maintaining cordial relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, please do put your hands together as I invite Toastmaster Kiran on stage.
Thank you, Nidanju. Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good evening.
I bring the meeting number 1024 of Garden City Toastmasters Club to order. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Division E Governor, Toastmaster Satyanarayan Raju. Please welcome. I see some guests. Please introduce yourselves by letting us know your name, profession, and how did you come to know about this club.
I'm Priyanka. I got to know about this club. I've been looking for Toastmaster for almost 5 years. It was a little delay in joining, rather exploring, and I work with GMR. I work in strategy planning, and this is my third visit here, and I'm sure this will sound the last when I will join finally. So today I have a guest with me, my colleague Santosh. I think he'll introduce himself. So, yes.
Hi, my name is Santosh D'Souza. I work in the risk management team at GMR Group. I've been new to Bangalore. This is the last 6 months. I've shifted from Mumbai to Bangalore. I came to know about this to my colleague Priyanka. So this is my first visit here. Thank you.
Go ahead. I work in Tally Solutions as a product manager. Mangal has referred me from that. We want to start an initiative where people from our office can get involved in this in Toastmasters and help develop their interpersonal skills and communication skills to become an effective leader one day. So I just come here for the first time to see how this is.
Thank you and welcome. Tenzin, 14th Dalai Lama said, consider the following. We humans are social beings. We survive here in dependence on others, whether we like it or not. There is hardly a moment of our lives when we do not benefit from others' activities. For this reason, it is hardly surprised that most of our happiness arises in the context of our relationships with others. How many relationships do we have? There are plenty, like Niranjan mentioned, we have so many relationships. To name a few, we have parents, children, grandparents, grandchildren, teacher, students, colleagues, cousins, brothers, sisters, friends, so many others. Each and every relationship is unique and very important for us. To maintain quality relationships, we should support each other. Sergey Brin, co-founder of the world's most popular search engine, wrote in his blog when he and his partner Larry were working together on the research which created Google. Stanford professor Rajiv Motwani was there to support them and guide them through all challenges they had faced during that time, both technical and organizational. Google could not have been a great success without Rajiv Motwani's mentorship. So a mentor is very important in our lives to achieve whatever we want in our lives, both professional and personal lives. A mentor is very, very important if we want to grow. In Toastmasters also, we have mentor-mentee relationship. When I joined this club as a speech crafter, Mr. Toastmaster Prasanna was coordinating the speech craft and Toastmaster Virupaksha was my mentor. That time I didn't know ABC of Toastmasters, but all through 8 sessions, they were supporting me and guiding me what to do, what not to do. When I joined this club as a regular member, Toastmaster Jagdish was my mentor. Not was, he still is my mentor. I call him so many times, but he was there all the time. Whenever I called him, he was there to support me and guide me. Once I remember when I had to deliver a speech next day, I sent the speech the previous day, and he was traveling that time. And I asked him, SMS'd him, please see my mail and guide me if I need any corrections. Luckily, he could open his mail and promptly he sent a reply suggesting some improvements, and I delivered my speech. That's the commitment they have towards Toastmasters and their mentors, mentees. We are very lucky to have all senior Toastmasters here. All the guests who come from outside of our club, they always say in their feedback that we have Toastmasters as mentors, senior Toastmasters. They don't have. We have to take their guidance, we have to call them. Because the Buddhist proverb says, when the student is ready, teacher appears. They are there, but are we ready to take their guidance? That is what matters. But know their time, free time, and then call them during that time only. Because I had disturbed him so many times. After that one I came to know their time is very valuable. So give them importance and take their guidance. And I request all the mentors to talk their mentees at least twice a month and encourage them to take up different roles in the club. Not only speaking slots, other roles as CL roles, and also encourage them to complete their CL, CCs and DTM, all educational roles. To take us through the meeting, we have a senior Toastmaster, one of the founder members of Garden City Toastmasters Club. He had mentored and motivated so many people, created many winners with Dr. Bharat Chandra, a very humble person and the past president of our club. Please put your hands together and happily welcome DTM Ramlal.
to Madam President for all those wonderful words. In relationships, you reap what you sow. If you sow love, you reap love. If you sow kindness, you reap kindness. If you sow forgiveness, you reap forgiveness. That is how important relationships are. And relationships cannot be nurtured without the ability to communicate appropriately. The ability to speak, it is said, is a shortcut to distinction. It puts a person in the limelight and raises him head and shoulders above the crowd. And a person who can speak acceptably is usually given credit for this ability out of all proportions to what he really possesses. So ladies and gentlemen, every evening, every Friday, between 6:30 and 8:30 we meet here to sharpen our skills of communication. And through this, we nurture our interpersonal relationships. To take you through the meeting, we have 3 sessions for the benefit of the guests. The first session is called the prepared speech session. The second session is the one in which a table topics master takes over. And the third session is the evaluation session, which is very unique to the Toastmasters International. And the first speaker of the day of the first prepared speech is a lawyer by profession. But before I introduce you to him, I request his evaluator, Mr. Zulfikar Akram, to read out the guidelines of the project, please.
Guidelines project speech are to understand this is a monodrama. The objectives are to understand the concept and nature of the monodrama, to give the identity of character and to portray the physical and emotional aspects of this character to an audience. Time 5 to 7 minutes. We have the timer to note. We have a special request.
And the green card will be shown at 45 seconds, the yellow at 5, and the red at 7 minutes.
Back to the Toastmasters.
Thank you, Mr. Zulfikar Akram. Every Toastmasters is generally headed by a general evaluator who has a team of his own to evaluate the entire session right from the beginning of the meeting. And today's general evaluator happens to be a committed Toastmaster. Please welcome the general evaluator of the evening, Mr. Pradeep.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. I have the pleasant task of evaluating today's meeting. To assist me in evaluating the meeting, I have assigned these. Toastmaster Saket, as I am briefly about it.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. My role as a timer today is to keep track of the time during the entire meeting and to make sure that the meeting starts and ends on time and report it back to the general evaluator. Thank you.
As a grammarian, we have Toastmaster Chandrasekhar. This is the word of the day.
The word of the day is fervent, means enthusiastic and very sincere. It can be used with my fervent hope is that each one of us identify our fear and move boldly into it.
My role as the R counter is to constantly crunch of filler words like etc. and report it at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. The first speech is based on interpretive reading, and the benefits are exploring pitch voice, identifying with characters, literary interpretation of the material. And it is being presented by one of the oldest Toastmasters, whom I have known since since a long time and is a lawyer by profession. Please welcome the first speaker of the evening, Mr. Prasanna R.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and the welcome guests. The legend says that no one survived the windy battle of Troy. However, Alfred Tennyson presumes that Ulysses survived with some of the mariners. Ulysses comes back to Ithaca, spends some quality time with his family, ruling his small kingdom. He is aged now. He is again feeling restlessness. He is restless because his whole life has been a great adventure. And now he wants to give the sole responsibility of managing the kingdom to his son and again go on another series of adventure. It is this context in which the character which is depicted in this poem is trying to speak to the audience. Once I read out the material, I would like to interpret it and also infer the relevancy of this to today's audience. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present Alfred Tennyson's portrait of Ulysses, one of my favorite poems. It little profits that an idle king, by this still health among these barren tracts, unequal loss unto the savage race that hoard and feed and sleep and know not me. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life the least. All times I have enjoyed greatly, I have suffered greatly. With those who loved me, and alone on the shores, went through those scudding drifts, the rainy heights, vexed with the dim sea. I have become a name for always roaming with a hungry heart. Much I have seen and known, men, manners, cities, climates, myself not the least. And drunk the delight of the battle with my peers, far on the ringing plains of the windy Troy. Yet all experience is an arch, where through gleams that untraveled world, whose margin fades forever and forever when I move on. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rust unburnished and not to shining use. Little reminds, but every hour is saved from that eternal silence, something more, a bringer of the new things. While it were for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star. This is my son, my own Telemachus, to whom I leave the kingdom, who will be responsible to make rugged people by slow prudence subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centered in the sphere of common duties, bound not to fail in the office of tenderness, and to pay adoration to my houseful gods. When I am gone, he works his work, and I mine. There lies the port, the vessel puffs. There glooms the dark sea. My mariners, soul that have toiled and worked and thought with me, that ever with the frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine, and opposed free hearts, free foreheads, you and I are old. But old age yet has its honor. Death closes all, but some work of noble note may yet be done. Not unbecoming men that strode with the gods. The light begins to twinkle from the rocks, the long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep moon round with my voice. Come, my friends, this is not too late to seek a newer world. Push off, and sitting well in order's mind, the sounding furrows from my purpose molds, to sail beyond the sunset, and to bath all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be that we will touch their peaks. Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to hate. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alfred Tennyson's portrait of Ulysses. The relevancy of this poem, anyone who knows the Abraham Maslow's pyramid, the last of the self-actualization is what has been mentioned. The first being the physical needs, the ego needs, the economic needs, the social recognition, and the last being self-actualization. Anyone who strives for self-actualization will have this sense of restlessness in him. The need to go out and explore, notwithstanding the fact that you may be old, you may have your own economic limitations, you may have your circumstances. Despite that, at any age, in any circumstance, one can take risks. No harm in striving for things, no harm in experiencing life, and not focusing much on the results. I would say probably what Sri Krishna took so much of material to convey to Arjuna, probably Tennyson is conveying it in a couple of paragraphs. This is the essence of the point. Over to you, Postmaster.
To be in a wonderful relationship and relationships, you have to have good friends. To have friends, be a friend first. To be remembered, remember others. To be loved, be loving. This is how we can develop good relationships with people. The second speaker of the day is presenting an educational session to us, which is very, very vital in Toastmasters. It's all about communication. And communication has to do a lot with interpersonal relationships. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, he is a voracious talker, a voracious reader, and I know him since the beginning of Garden City Toastmasters Club. And I've had wonderful moments with him as a friend to be remembered. Please welcome the person who is presenting an educational session to us, the prolific trainer, DTM, Lokesh Shankarappa.
Thank you, Ramla. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Toastmasters, welcome guests. One of the lines which the President spoke about today
the Buddhist quotation, okay, where she says, when the student is ready, the master teacher comes. So there's another one similar to that. When you put the sails up of your ship, the wind comes. It is similar. Now, I would just like to tie up this with relationships, and the relationship that we all purportedly have with Toastmasters. And I would like to today talk briefly, give you some simple pointers as to how to make a good presentation. What are the simple things which we need to do to cover to make a good impact. Also, how to overcome some nervousness, basic things, okay, not too deep. And I would like also at the same time to share some of my experiences with Toastmasters, the journey with Toastmasters in this context. Firstly, let's put Toastmasters into perspective for each one of us. Okay, so we are all students, and the Toastmasters framework exists. We know to teach us, to help us become better communicators and also better leaders. The leadership track, you know, is a separate track. It sort of meets with the communication track. So the communication track. So if I become a better communicator, Mr. Ramlal said, when you become a better communicator, it gives you distinction. It puts you one step above somebody else. Okay? You are able to do so many things. You supposedly have the power to do so many things. Okay? Through becoming a better communicator. And where are we? We're in the place where we are supposed to become better communicators. So we are in the right place. But my question is, for all of you, to think now as also when you go back home. Become a better communicator and do what? This is one of the questions as a Toastmaster which I have been asking myself after the first year or so of going through this, giving speeches, practicing, to come on the stage and then come. Then ultimately, if we are we're all members of society, then I become a good communicator. All of you become good communicators. We're all good communicators. But what is it that we are going to do with this communication? A name comes to my mind. I may not have the name correctly in my mind. If anybody knows, please correct me. The first person is a lady called Natasha Maimonia. Has anybody heard of her? She is a Toastmaster. She was a freedom fighter. Zulfi, name rings a bell to you? No? Okay. Okay. I was hoping that American person would be here and that person would know. Because I didn't have time to search my records for the exact name. But I know her name is Natasha Maimonia. Which country I do not know. I think she is from Korea, Burma or Korea. But she fought bitterly, she fought very strongly. She's a Toastmaster. She used her skills on the ground level, at the ground level. Okay? Why I'm quoting this example to you is, let us always keep Toastmasters in perspective. Why am I become a better communicator? Yes, but why? For what? Okay? So at the ground level, what should I say? What's the word I want? Incremental growth. Where is the incremental growth? Where is my incremental growth? I come to Toastmasters. When I came the first time I spoke about this, I harp upon this. Where is your incremental growth? And how are you going to use it? So if you cannot become a freedom fighter like Natasha Maimonia, let me quote one other person for you. His name is Chip Conley. These are contemporaries. Natasha Maimonia is not like Abraham Lincoln 40 years ago. He did this and no. This is a contemporary right now, today, living.